Making tax digital. What are the facts? What is the fiction? Let's find out some more information today to make you more aware of what is happening when it comes to making tax digital. Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcott, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Let's sit down and have a chat. We are back for more Making Tax Digital facts and fiction, and let's dive into some more questions that we've been getting on what we need to be considering for making tax digital. Do you need to be reporting pension income quarterly? And the simple answer to that is no. The only things on your quarterly submissions are going to be your rental income or your self-employed income. You don't need to be reporting your pension income, as that is already being reported to HMRC via the PAYE scheme that the pension company will be running and sending those submissions into HMRC. The one positive thing there is when you come to do your final declaration, that pension income you have been receiving should be on that pre-populated part of your final declaration. So you just need to check that what it says on there equates to what you end up getting on your P60 for your pension. The idea of this is to try and simplify the process so that rather than hunting for all the data that they already know about, they'll tell you what they've got, you can check you're happy with what they've got, and then fill in the blanks such as dividends, interest, other gains, losses, and things like that. Our next question that I have got is, where do service charges and ground rents go? And the simple answer is these are both allowable expenses. So these will either go on your spreadsheet or on your software to record them as expenses. And those expenses will then be reported on a cumulative basis per quarter of the expenses you've incurred. So if they're just once a year, it will appear in the quarter that you pay those expenses. If there's something you pay monthly or quarterly, they'll build up throughout the year on your Making Tax Digital submissions, which you'll be putting on either your spreadsheet summary or on your software, hopefully, which will then record it. The great thing about some of the softwares out there is they connect to your bank account. So if they connect to your bank account, then it makes it a lot simpler, because if you try and keep that bank account separate just for your rental business, then when it connects through, you just need to make sure you allocate those expenses to the right place, including those service charges and that ground rent to the right category, and the software will hopefully do a lot of the work for you to prepare that submission ready for you to check before you submit it. So these, as we've said, service charges and ground rent are both allowable expenses. Our next question is, what if I make a mistake on my quarterly submission? And as long as everything has been put together in the right sort of way, as long as you put everything on as far as possible, there is no issue. If you find you've missed something, then it will just be a matter of putting it in so that in effect you get it through on the next submission, as it's cumulative. You don't need to go back and amend a return, because they won't be a facility as far as we're aware to amend. But you can go back, put the sub expense in, and then when you do your next quarterly submission, it will get incorporated into it. We've not been made aware of any penalties for the mistakes, in essence, if they're not deliberate mistakes. The key thing where penalties start to kick in is if you are not submitting. So if you submit it late, if you don't submit it at all, this is where you'll start to get penalty points and have issues, and penalties will start happening. This will be financial penalties that you'll end up having to pay to HMRC as penalty charges. However, that isn't going to happen for the first period. So mistakes will happen. We all know mistakes happen. We forget something. That is not the end of the world. The key thing is you bring it in as soon as you realise, and then on the cumulative reports, they will kick in. Our next question is, what about interest on a director's loan to my company? And as we all know, people in property tend to lend money to their company, and at quite a few will get interest back from their company. Now this is interest income, so on that basis, for the quarterly submissions, you won't need to do anything with that income. The key thing there is that you'll put this income on your final declaration, and then when you do the final declaration, it will show the interest, calculate appropriate taxes, so that you are doing everything you are meant to do. Our final query is, quarterly updates will be time consuming. And I'm not seeing that the quarterly updates themselves are going to be time consuming. For anyone who may have been involved in doing a VAT return, the process of submitting the VAT return is actually quite a quick and easy process with clicking several buttons. The key part of the process is making sure your digital records are up to date, making sure you check the reports that are going to be submitted to make sure that they show a true and accurate position of where things are at that point in time. The actual process of submitting things is relatively straightforward. It's really making sure what you've got is the right thing and having the appropriate software in place to do that. So is it going to be complicated? No, but you need to know what you're doing to make sure that it is as simple as it potentially can be. If you don't know what you're doing, this is where it can be complex because you don't have your software connected up to HMRC, which means it won't submit, which therefore means you do have problems, which means it will be time consuming. So if you can get yourself set up in the right way, the actual process of the submission should be hopefully quite streamlined. The big thing is going to be making sure the data you're submitting is going to be accurate as far as possible. We all know that there is things that may get overlooked. The key thing I'd probably say there is when you've done everything on your digital side of things, just have a quick check of things like your credit card. Have you paid for anything personal? Have you paid anything through your personal bank account? Is there anything you've paid cash? It's all those things that you just need to probably have a double check to make sure that everything has been dealt with properly. As you can see, there are more questions coming. And if you do have any questions that are on your mind about Makingtaxdigital, then please do leave a comment. And we'll see about making some more fact and fiction videos to help you make sure that you are getting the right information to help support your Makingtaxdigital journey. Hopefully today you've really got a good understanding of some of the different questions you may have about Makingtaxdigital. If you have any questions, then please do leave a comment. Please like the video and do subscribe to the channel. And let's make tax less taxing.